Hey, welcome back to the Get Out Deck Guy show. I'm Steve Rhode, the old Get Out Deck Guy, and with me as always is Damon Day, the new, invigorated, younger Get Out Deck Guy. Say hello, Damon.
Hey, everyone.
Before I forget, you can always reach Damon Day at DamonDay.com. He does free consultations if you want to talk, have a little chitty chat about your debt. Recently we talked about having a chitty chat about a kitty cat. Did you ever talk to that person again?
Steve, I talked to so many people, I don't know who you're referring to.
The cat
maybe,
sanctuary?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. I have a couple.
No, a couple cat sanctuaries?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It's a thing. I've got some horse sanctuaries. I've got probably 5 or 6 animal sanctuaries in one form or another. Not me personally. I'm talking about
clients with sanctuaries.
That I've done. Yeah.
Pam's always said that if we won the big lottery, that she would start like a dog rescue farm, and we would have a farm. I'm like,
100%. Yeah, Steve, for those of you that don't know, Steve's huge. So am I. But Steve's a huge dog lover, to the point where for many years he was a rescue pilot for dogs. Yeah. Like he literally would take his plane and he would rescue dogs from from kill shelters.
Yeah, we'd
and
fly
take
them up
to
north.
Places.
Yeah, for adoption.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, I got to go get a couple of dogs," and he'd fly a few states over, grab some dogs, fly them around, see the sights, drop them off.
Oh my God. I have never risked my life more than those years that I was doing that. That was rough.
Yeah. I see what you did there, Steve.
Glad you caught it.
Well, I caught the second one. The first one was subtle, but the second one, I caught it.
Guy and a dog walks into a bar. Guy goes, "My dog can talk." And the bartender goes, "I don't believe it." And the guy goes, "Who is the best baseball player ever?" And the dog goes, "Ruth." The bartender goes, "That's not talking." And the dog says, "Should I said DiMaggio?"
Well, I got actually a nice compliment from a lady I spoke with yesterday who listens to the podcast. She said that she really enjoyed the show. She just recently found us and she's been listening. And she enjoyed it because, we take this subject of, finance and debt and stuff that's traditionally a boring subject. And she goes, she likes the fact that we're funny. We laugh a lot on the show. Yeah. And that we cuss. She goes, it's just kind of refreshing and different and real. And I was like, okay, well, awesome. So maybe we'll cuss some more today. I don't know.
Fuck no.
No way.
So remember that time? Like, I can't remember the guy's name, but he came into the website and he said, "Doesn't it bother you that people cuss in comments?" You remember?
Yeah. Yeah, you remember what he said. Fuck no. Clutch your pearls somewhere else, whatever.
Well, I live in North Carolina, and there's an old joke about so a guy sends his daughter to finishing school, and the woman.
It's definitely an old joke.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is. Anyway, woman says, "Well, what did you learn in finishing school?" And I'm going to shorten the joke here. And the woman goes, "Well, we learned that instead of calling you a bitch, we just say, 'Well, bless your heart.'"
You hear that a lot in the South.
Bless your heart. Oh, we did. And those in the know, every time you hear somebody say it, we make eye contact and laugh.
Yeah. Was that Dusty, that comedian Dusty that says that? I can't remember his last name. I think that he has a joke about that. Or one of those Southern comedians has a joke about, "Oh, bless your heart."
Yeah. That's as passive aggressive as we can get down here.
Yeah.
All right. So,
what are we talking about today, Steve?
What are we talking about? So we have this, big outline that we have been doing and covering, and then you and I just kind of lost interest in it. So we were
talking about debt settlement.
Yeah,
we're just like,
screw that. So we're just going to freestyle and, help people through these difficult times because prices are only going up every day. You heard about, well, things in the Iran, I don't know, are we calling it a war or a conflict or a piss off, or I don't know what we're calling it. But, all of a sudden for 24 hours, it was like, there's a ceasefire and gas prices, took a temporary dip. Whoop.
It's actually getting comical now. War's over. War's done. Ceasefire. Back on. Drop bomb.
Never mind.
Walk the straight. Do it. It's like, but I think honestly, the whole time, the oil companies, this is my own personal opinion. I don't know. I don't understand any of this stuff. I don't pretend to understand it. But I think they're just, whatever's happening, they're just using it as freaking cover to jack up gas prices and be like, well, what are you going to do? It's a war.
Well,
because I refuse to believe that this conflict, just like that, is pushing up prices
instantly.
Because exactly, it's just like, oh, we have cover, we can raise prices. This is what all these companies are doing now, just with the COVID, right? It's like the old playbook now. It's like, hey, we have something we can blame, so we can raise prices and just point to that thing, and it's not our fault. We're sorry.
Yeah, they go up fast.
We have to raise prices.
Come down slow. I mean, it's like shrinkflation.
Come down slow. They don't come down at all.
It's like shrinkflation at the grocery store. Like, when was the last time a box of Cheerios got bigger? Like, never.
Well, the box might, but the bag inside's getting
smaller.
It's,
like a quarter the size of the box. But I heard a great quote today. I was listening to some song, and the gist of it was that the military-industrial complex makes a lot of money selling bombs and weapons, but you don't make any money selling peace. That's true.
I was at Costco like 3 days ago. It gets to the point where it's almost just like you laugh about it. It's so ridiculous. We're almost Banana Republics. I get to Costco and I swear it was like 4 items maybe. Granted, one of them, these headphones I'm actually using right now. I bought these Sony headphones, but they were $200 headphones. Mm-hmm. I needed some new headphones, right? So there was something that was, I guess, expensive in there. But I think I had that. I had a thing of batteries. My son wanted a little thing of cookies, and I had some popcorn that my daughter wanted. Yeah. And there's maybe one other small thing. But we bring it. It's $448, and I looked at my card again, and I got the receipt, and I'm like,
yeah,
literally, I'm going like in my head, it wasn't $400, and when they said like $450, I'm like, and I looked, and each thing, it's like, yeah, that's what that costs. That's what that costs. Shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally, I didn't even actually need a basket. Like there were and it was $400. And then to make myself feel better, I was like, "You guys want to get $1.50?"
Yeah, that's the deal. Pam and I go there for lunch sometimes. It's such a deal.
I feel like I need to go there for lunch every day now. I mean, that's all I can afford after buying everything else. Holy shit.
Well, I mean, compare the Costco. Well, we go to Sam's Club, but the hot dog drink or pizza drink deal for less than $2. Compare that to having something to eat at McDonald's.
I know. I wish it was healthy, because literally my advice would be, if you live close to a Costco or a Sam's Club, just swing by for lunch every day. It's literally cheaper than you can make your own hot dogs at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, it's killer, man. It's rough out there, Steve.
Oof.
I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. It's rough out there. I mean, if it wasn't for Costco, I would be buying pizza on payments.
I know. Well, I don't think you can do Klarna at Costco yet, but I'm sure you will. We went to Sam's Club the other day.
Don't give Klarna any idea,
no.
Steve.
Yeah, we went to Sam's Club, walked out $3.50, but the big but there is that we were getting deals on stuff.
You're like, we didn't even buy anything. We just walked in and walked out, and it was $350.
Well, so, this might be oversharing, but I never knew how expensive constipation drugs were. Okay? And
it's going to be good when she prefaces with, this might be oversharing.
Well,
it'll be oversharing.
Yeah, it's a shitty story. Or not.
It was roof.
But I went to the grocery store, and like Colace pills that you buy if you're constipated, it was $26 for 30 pills. It's like, this is an over-the-counter medication, and none of the others were any cheaper. So, like a thing of Miralax that fiber that you drink, mixed with water and drink. It was.
Nah, I'm not that old.
Oh, you will be. It was 45 servings for $30, and I went to Sam's Club and I got the Sam's generic same thing, and it was not.
You got the huge pack.
I
of
did.
The constipation
I
drugs.
did. It was 9.
I buy constipation drugs in bulk.
It was 90 doses for $20. So almost half price. It's worth going there and getting the hot dog while you're there.
I mean, I'm 48. I don't think I've ever, I have been constipated before, but I don't think it's ever been to the point where I've taken a pill or something for it.
Yeah.
And I've definitely never thought I need to go to Sam's Club and get the bulk box of this stuff.
Well,
I'm just not there, but wait
till you're 66.
Life has seasons.
Yeah.
I'm not in that season yet. I get to look forward to that.
Well,
enjoy your life while you're young, kids.
Disappointing thing is that by the time you get here to my age and you're buying it in bulk, I'll be dead.
Well, that's a pleasant thought.
So make all the fun you want.
When I get to the point where I can't take a deuce, Steve will not be around for me to tell about it.
Well, actually, it's a side effect of one of my medications. So.
Well, right now you've got new listeners who've never heard us before looking at their phone going,
what the
I thought
hell?
This was a financial podcast.
Well, I guess it is. We're talking dollars and cents.
Yeah.
So there was actually a post I was working on that I don't think we're going to talk about today, but it was talking about how people are now jumping towards the generic products at stores. The Walmart.
Shit. Well, you're late to the party. I've been doing that for years.
The Walmart bran flakes with dried grapes. That's the Raisin Bran. Anyway.
Well, I kind of draw the line on the food. I mean, like other things.
Oh, no, I get the food all the time. No.
I've tried. I can't. It tastes like affordability. Steve.
No. Well, see, so here's the tricky thing that's happening right now is the generic brands look cheaper, but people are looking at the wrong price. You need to look at the...
They're going to price per ounce?
You need to look at the unit price, not the price of the product. So you can have a generic product. It might not have as much in it. So you're not getting all the value that you think. So look at the unit pricing on the shelf if you're making a decision.
Yep, that is a pro tip. A pro tip that my wife has never done.
Well, I was trying to offer some.
It's a win if I can get her to look at the regular price alone, right? Much less the unit price. You broke it down by the unit.
Yeah.
This is 50 cents an ounce, and this one's only 47 cents an ounce.
Get the 47. See, I was trying to bring it back around and make it a financial show because I was looking at the unit pricing on the Miralax.
For sure. Did you have your bifocals on at the time, Steve?
I do.
Yeah, there you go. There's no other way to see it.
Well, now you make fun of that, but I've had bifocals since I was 30. So there.
You've been old for a long time.
Yeah, I know. I had cataract surgery at 30.
Damn.
Yeah, the worst part about that was that I started my professional life in ophthalmology as an ophthalmic surgical assistant and eye technician. And so I did assisted on lots of cataract surgeries. And somewhere along the way, early on, I told every patient, don't worry, it doesn't hurt, it's a piece of cake. And then I get cataracts. Sucked.
And I quit the profession.
No, the worst part was, since I'm oversharing, the worst part was that the guy that did my cataract surgery was the guy that I was the surgical assistant for. And people say the craziest things under anesthesia. I've heard everything. So anyway, I was not worried about my cataract surgery. I was super worried that under anesthesia, I was going to blurt something out about my boss just had a testicle removed. Because he did. And so that's what I was worried about. The eye surgery? Nah.
You could have went to somebody else to have your
Oh,
surgery.
no. I trusted the one ball doctor.
You're like, I got an employee discount.
Yeah. Actually, I think I did. All right.
Articles?
Articles. Yes. What did you pick out?
So we got, you're writing so many articles. We might have to start bumping this show up to twice a week now. I can't keep up. Like you just mentioned an article and you're like, we probably won't get to it today. And I'm thinking, well, by the time next Thursday rolls around, it's going to be buried on like page 4. So we're never going to get.
Well, so
not that we get to every article.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've changed up my focus. For so many years, I've written these, pieces about debt settlement and all this other stuff. And so lately I've decided, screw that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write about topical news, things that are happening right now, and then show people how it applies to their financial life. So my goal is to write 5 topical posts and stories every day because there's so much stuff happening that impacts our wallets and pocketbooks.
Well, you're pretty much hitting that goal. So yeah, we might have to maybe try out a 2 show a week format and see how that goes. But for those of you that are new here, what we're doing is on the getoutofdebt.org website, all the articles that we'll be talking about, everything that Steve writes. If you haven't been there, it's a great website, getoutofdebt.org. Steve, how long have you been running that website? 20 plus years now?
I started in the debt world in 1994. So
yeah, but the website specifically,
2008.
Got to be at least 20 years.
2008 was
almost 20 years. Okay,
when I brought it back up,
almost 20 years. Yeah. So getoutofdebt.org. Steve, what do you got? Like 100 million articles up there, something like that.
I think I was up to 30,000.
Yeah, 30,000. So anything you want to know about any kind of debt question, process, strategy, anything, Steve's written about it multiple times.
Yeah.
So you just go to the getoutofdebt.org website, you go to the little magnifying glass in the top right-hand corner, and you type in anything that is on your mind. And one cool thing that Steve added recently, which seems to be catching on a lot, is Chatbot Steve or AI Steve. You can have an actual conversation with AI Steve. And I do declare, it's quite good because I've seen some of the chat transcripts and they're all anonymous. There's no names or anything like that. He'll call you like Brave Squirrel or something like that.
Yeah.
And you could just ask any question you want about, your situation or bankruptcy and literally have a very intelligent conversation about your situation. And AI Steve can literally walk you through some scenarios. It's quite good. I recommend it.
Yeah. So AI Steve is actually built on 30 years of writing about credit and debt and money issues. That's what I trained it on. So it is as close to my point of view and voice as possible. And to show you how good, this is something that you wouldn't see someplace else. Earlier today, somebody was having a chat and they were talking about settling their own debt. And AI Steve said, "How do you know you're getting a good deal?" Which is an excellent point. How does somebody settling their own debt know that they're getting a good deal when they're so emotionally involved and they've never done it before?
Yeah. What was the response?
I don't know.
But makes you think, right? Gets you to ponder. It's good. It's a good chatbot. Honestly, it's better than most of the customer service reps when I'm talking to a real person for a lot of these companies.
Oh, it's better than any debt relief company, yeah.
I called Verizon yesterday. Yeah. I had a simple question. I'm paying like $350 a month on my phone bill, and I've been paying this for years, and I've been with Verizon like 20 years. And I like Verizon. It's good service. And, I don't use landlines anymore. I've used cell phones exclusively for, 15 years. So I don't really want to switch. I've tried it before, always regretted it, always come back. But I also don't like paying $350 a month. And granted, we got 3 kids and iPads and all this kind of stuff, whatever. So I went to the website and I have a legacy plan. I've had it for a while. And usually, if you have the legacy plan, you want to stick with it because like everything else, Verizon's not making crap cheaper, right? So once you get off the legacy plan, you can never get back on it. So there's this kind of fear of loss thing going on. Like, I don't want to switch over, make a stupid mistake by looking at the stuff on the website and switching my plan. So like, I want to call a person and I want to have a conversation about, hey, this is what I have. Is it going to be better if I switch, or is it going to be worse? Because it's I spent an hour on it and I couldn't figure out whether it was going to work or not work, or if I move one line over, it makes all the lines, get grandfathered over, whatever. So I just wanted to talk to somebody, have a conversation with Damon Day, right?
Yeah.
And just talk it through. Like,
Right.
That's all I wanted. I wanted somebody like me that understands the cell phone world and could walk me through the plans. So I call up, and at first I got to get frustrated through the Verizon AI guy who's there to help me.
Your call is very important to us.
And the thing that aggravates me the most is I'm a grown-ass man, and I know whether or not an AI can help me or I want to talk to a live person.
Yeah.
I just know if that's what I want. I don't need a computer to try to convince me that I don't need to talk to somebody. So I don't know if anybody ever listens to the recordings, but I'm always like, I want to effing talk to a person, live person, operator, representative. It's like, I hear you want a representative, but can you tell me exactly what you need? Exactly what I need is a representative, So I finally get the lady on the phone, and bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
English was not her first language.
Okay.
I spent a half an hour on the phone, and she's just reading me what's on the website slowly as I'm looking. And I finally just politely was like, you know what? I got my questions answered. I really appreciate it. Oh, is there anything else?
No,
thank you.
I'm done.
By the time I hung up, I was on the phone for a half an hour, and I literally got nothing answered.
Right.
Nothing. Like, I knew more than she
You should have
did.
gone to ChatGPT and asked it there.
I did, but it wasn't able to dig into what I really needed, because the nuance, the questions I had were nuanced questions that weren't readily available, which is why I effing needed to talk to somebody that knew what was going on. And Verizon's not going to provide that, because they don't want you to know what's going on. They want you to get off the legacy plan, probably.
Yeah.
So after wasting about 2 hours of my day yesterday, I'm still paying $350 a month, because I've got this, I'm going to switch, and then I'm going to find out I got screwed after the fact. And then they're going to say, well, sorry, we can't switch you back. Right. So anyway, that segues into timeshares.
All right. Yeah.
Well, the first article we're talking about today, this is just more of a PSA. Steve wrote about it, and this is something I've been bitching about for years. Stop getting into timeshares, because you can't effing get out of timeshares.
Yeah.
Steve, what's this article about?
Well, it's about another timeshare exit company where they got caught just offering no services and spending a lot of money. So this company the primary company was Square One Group, but it operated under Consumer Law Protection, Square One Group, Premier Reservations Group, Report Transfer Group, Timeshare Help Source. It's another one of these schemes that charges people a lot of money to try to break free from a timeshare. And it's specifically targeted older adults. Because
why do you think that is?
Well, because
they're coming out of Sam's Club with a big old box of Miralax.
Yeah. Well, because they took all the free trips, bought all the timeshares. I don't understand timeshares. Honestly, I never have. I don't want to rent time for something that I'm probably not going to use, and then have to pay special assessments and dues when a property is run down. They just don't. Rent a hotel room. Go to a resort. Do not buy a timeshare.
Yeah, I mean, your tastes change, right? Situations in life change. When you went to the timeshare, maybe your kids were young, and this Disney timeshare, whatever, so great, and they got properties all. And obviously it sounds awesome, and they're going to bedazzle you and all this kind of stuff. But 5 years, from there, now your kids are teenagers. They don't like you anymore. They don't want to hang out with you. They don't want to go to the Disney resort with you anymore. And you finally get to the point where you're tired of forcing them to go, because it's a pain in the butt. And so you don't do it. You do other things. Maybe you stay local, whatever. You go, Dad, I've been to that place like 6 times. It's boring. I don't want to go. Right? So you don't do it. And then you're paying fees. And guess what? The fees just get bigger and bigger and bigger because the resorts get older, older and older, and people drop out and people stop paying. So the amount of people paying for these older resorts that need repairs gets smaller and smaller. And now we just have simple Econ 101. We got less people paying for more shit.
Yeah.
And it just gets a bigger bill and a bigger bill and a bigger bill. And then people go, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I haven't used it in 5 years. I'm going to sell it.
Good luck.
That's no problem.
They have no residual.
You're told at the seminar.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, it'll be more valuable in a few years. You can just sell it when you don't want it anymore. Right. You put it up, you can't sell it. So then what do? You start searching, how do I get out of this timeshare? It's costing me $4,000 a year, whatever. Yeah. And then you find these timeshare exit companies
that promise
you the world. Yeah. You know, like, we can get you out of it. If there's a whole industry, I want people to think about this. When you're thinking about buying a timeshare, okay, getting into one, there is an entire industry dedicated to this pain point of, you can't fucking get out of your timeshare, and you'll pay us a lot of money to do it. That one fact tells you I shouldn't buy this.
Well, you know, and that's also because of this whole sunk cost fallacy. The timeshare companies do have free or low-cost voluntary surrender programs where you can hand it back. But people always say, I've spent so much on this today, you know, I need to get some of that money back instead of just handing it over and walking away and being free.
Yeah, and not all of them allow you to do that either. Sometimes you're stuck. And I mean, I know we don't talk about it enough on this show at all, but Steve, what's one of the other things that can actually get you out of a timeshare?
Bankruptcy.
I mean, I just feel it's worth mentioning. We don't mention it a lot. Yeah. Like, you know, I feel like bankruptcy doesn't ever get mentioned here. So, but bottom line is, do not get into a timeshare. The other thing, if that other amazing fact that I gave you about a whole scammy industry devoted to a pain point that's so bad, it's not that one factoid alone should tell you I shouldn't buy this thing. Here's the other thing. If you think you're going to be able to get in and when you're done, you can sell it. How did you buy it?
Right. You got high pressured into it.
Yeah. Did you just cruise by a random website, see this amazing deal on a timeshare and be like, click, I want that in my car?
No, you got pressured.
No. Yeah. Not only pressured, they probably flew you and your family out for, 2 day, 3 night, or, 3 day, 2 night, whatever. And you got wined and dined for 2 days. Steve calls it pressured. I call it wined and dined. Same thing. And a professional or a slew of professional salespeople.
A trained closer.
Yeah. Spent 2 days getting you to just say, fine, I'll sign it. Just let me go home. Right? That's how they sold it to you when it was shiny and new. And you think you're going to throw it on a website listing 5 years later?
Craigslist.
Somebody's going to come and buy that? I mean, come on. You're never going to sell it.
I had a client once who was making a shitload of money, and his entire job was whenever they opened a new timeshare location, he was the closer. He flew to every new, timeshare operation, and he closed the deals. That's why he made the most money.
He was Vin Diesel in Boiler Room.
Exactly.
You got a live one on the line. Hold on, everybody, be quiet. And Vin Diesel's going to land it smoothly and then put you on the phone with the secretary for the details. Click.
Well, let me give you an example of just a terrible timeshare deal. So somebody that I know bought a timeshare in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Now, you like Myrtle Beach. It's a nice place.
I like North Myrtle Beach, yes. It's different than South Myrtle Beach. So,
I didn't know that. I'm not a Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. So anyway, they bought it at this development that was down there. And over time, they never went back there because they bought a timeshare, so you can use your points anywhere. And so they were using them in different places. And then they started getting these giant special assessment bills because the shithole that they bought in South Carolina ended up needing lots of repair. It's near the ocean. It gets beat up pretty bad. So they were having to pay special assessments for a location that they never went to.
Yeah.
And, it's different.
When did the special assessments stop, Steve?
Oh, they didn't.
They don't?
No, they're still going.
They don't stop. So You have a whole industry devoted towards trying to get people out so you can get scammed on the front and you can get scammed on the back. It's great. And you might get a water slide in between.
If you've been contacted by a timeshare exit company, you can go to getoutofdebt.org. At the bottom of the website under the free tools section, you can, if they've given you a contract, you can look at the contract decoder to see what it really means, or you can use my favorite, the Scam-O-Meter, and answer some questions, and it'll tell you whether you need to run away or set yourself on fire.
Running away is usually a better option than setting yourself on fire.
All right. What's next, Damon?
This is the meat and potatoes of today's show. We're getting into the meat and potatoes, as they say. So this article, Wells Fargo's CEO just dropped a 3-word warning about your credit lines. And this jumped out at me because I talked to people about this literally every day about, available credit left, and we're getting close to the limits, and they're essentially using the available credit as their lifeline. Right. Their savings is gone. Maybe their retirement is now gone, because people are walking out of Costco with a huge plus size box of Miralax for $350. Like, it's just gone. The money's gone. So they've got this available credit as their safety net. And so this article is a warning, right? It's the canary in the coal mine here. And so it's a good article about what he's talking about with your credit lines. If you are relying on available credit to kind of be your emergency fund, or, hey, we're buying groceries, that's going on a credit card, and you see your balances creeping up, go read this article, because that available credit might go away faster than you can use it.
Yeah, if companies start pulling back and they start, like, if your credit card company starts eliminating those zero balance transfer offers that you've been skipping along with, what are you going to do? Interest rates on credit cards can still go up more. And companies are pulling back and passing costs on to consumers. I mean, one of my favorite things right now is on Monday, the tariff refund program opened up. So all these illegal tariffs that companies were charged are now all getting refunded to them when they apply for their refunds. However, those refunds are not flowing back to consumers.
Of course not. It goes back to what I said earlier. Everything is cover for companies to raise prices and blame something else. Whether they're blaming Trump, they're blaming the war, they're blaming the Democrats, blaming the Republicans. There's plenty of blame, but it provides cover. That's what's going on. Most of the inflation, and I firmly believe, most of the inflation is just, well, we can do it, so why won't we? Everybody's doing it.
How are you going to stop it?
If there's one company that was doing it, well, the market takes care of that because people stop shopping there. But if everybody's doing it, what is that? The rising tide lifts all boats?
Well, the consumers always get it in the end anyway.
Well, they can go to Sam's Club. They can get a big old box of
you got my punchline there.
I did. I totally got what you're throwing. We've been doing this podcast a while, Steve. But no, here's why this is important, because I do talk to people about this every day. I see this a lot. And this is what I always tell my clients. And even if you're not my client, I'll still tell you, because I do those initial calls for free anyway. And you get a lot of good information on a free call. I don't hold back. I talk too much, actually. But listeners know that. You're like, yeah, you always cut Steve off. You never let him talk. But and I know a lot of you are in this situation that are listening to this right now. And I always tell this to clients. You can operate fine, you can sleep fine if you have money in the bank and you've got available credit. No problem. You can operate fine if you've got no money in the bank and available credit. A little bit of a problem, but you can still operate. You can sleep at night. You can sleep at night if you've got money in the bank and no available credit. But what you cannot do for any length of time is operate with no money in the bank and no credit. You cannot do it, because sure as shit, something's going to come up tomorrow that you didn't budget for. And what would you do if you needed $500 and your cards were maxed out, you had no available credit, and your utilization ratio was so high, nobody would give you any more credit, and you had no money in the bank? What would you do? You'd be missing payments. Now you're musical chairs. Do not wait to call me for help until you get to that point. If you're already at that point, call me immediately. I can still help you. But if you're cruising to that point quickly, call me before you get there. What this article is talking about is banks are they're reading the tea leaves. They're seeing what's coming.
They're going to tighten up.
They are pulling back. Yep. They're adjusting their risk. They're reevaluating. They're looking at people that hold their accounts and have available credit, and they're looking at their utilization rates. They're looking at, this person's likely to get in trouble. They have $10,000 of available credit on this card. That might be your emergency fund, unfortunately. Yeah, you might be thinking, I got this $10,000 card. That's my emergency fund. Anything happens, I'll use that. One day, Jamie Dimon sends you a letter.
Well, this is
says, hi.
Yeah, this is a snowball because banks look at their risk and then they reduce the credit line, your available credit, and then they also tighten the approval criteria, so it makes it harder to get a card or to transfer or anything else. Then they also look at you and they raise your annual percentage rate because you're more of a risk. And once they have done all these things, it flows downhill. Because now, as you said, your utilization rate is going up. And so that triggers other banks to go, whoa.
Yeah. And that's the killer. You get that Dear John or Dear Jane letter, and you're sleeping at night kind of, okay, you're stressed, but I got time. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get a side hustle. I'm going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to pay off the car. And you got your plans. You got that $10,000 in available credit on that Chase card. And one day you wake up and you get a letter and says, that $10,000 is gone. We've adjusted your limit down to surprise, exactly what you owe. Yeah. So your card is now maxed. And if you were operating with no cash in the bank and that credit was your emergency fund, you went to bed that night thinking you were fine. You woke up the next day with no cash and no credit, and the transmission goes out in the car and you are screwed. So do not wait. You cannot rely on available credit to be your emergency fund. If you're in a spot right now where your available credit is your fallback, you're already screwed. We need to fix that before Jamie Dimon sends you a letter.
Yeah, and also we need to fix it before the ostrich syndrome kicks into full effect, which is you got your head in the sand and you're spending down what little assets you have because you're afraid to fall behind on the bills. And before you know it, you're out of money and you're still falling behind.
I wish we were doing this on YouTube. We used to do these on YouTube, but Steve and I just got tired of putting on nice strips and brushing our hair. So we only do the audio, but we got to bring back the video because as soon as you said ostrich syndrome and the joke doesn't work, but the only thing that came in my mind was Kevin Hart's bit, and it only worked for people that have seen it. But when he's talking about why he's afraid of ostriches, and he goes, the ostrich was running this way and he was looking this way.
That is true. Very true.
He's going to kill us. We're going to die. He was looking this way and running this way. All right. So again, if you're relying on your credit to be your lifeline, we need a better plan. We need to get out ahead of that so we can start getting cash in the bank. We have to fix the cash flow. The problem is so many people get fixated on, I got to fix my debt. I got to get out of debt. And that's true, but that's the wrong thing to focus on when you have no money in the bank. We got to get money in the bank first, fix the cash flow, and then we have time to fix the debt. But the cash flow is going to kill you before the debt does.
Yeah, but what we're talking about with this story is that Wall Street is talking, but people are not listening to it. They're talking to each other. And they're saying, things are not looking good. In fact, I think the exact quote is, it does feel like there's some fragility or nervousness in the markets, which you don't see yet in the economy. It's coming.
Yeah. And when the market is falling on hard times and things are dropping, Steve, are you better off with cash or debt?
Oh, cash.
Cash. So how about we get you guys some cash before it happens, right? Because that's where opportunity is.
Yeah.
Not everybody's afraid of a market crash, or it might not even be a crash, right? But people that have cash and are prepared for it get excited, like, sweet, buying time. There's going to be a buying opportunity in them there hills, right?
40% of Americans can't absorb a $500 emergency.
Yeah, and not on a credit card.
Right.
Credit card is not your emergency fund. It can get taken away with a letter. Hell, it can get taken away without a letter, but they give you a courtesy.
So this was Wells Fargo CEO was talking about these things. The 3-word warning, I can only imagine what it was behind closed doors. Go fuck yourself. But if you don't believe that this is the back channel talk that's going on, let's jump to the D.R. Horton story.
Oh, we're jumping.
We're jumping because D.R. Horton,
jumping to the back.
The big home builder, just announced that profits are dropping. And that's important because this is a sign that the economy is slowing down.
Yeah. So, Steve, explain to me, just as an average consumer, why do I care about D.R. Horton's profits? What does that matter to me?
Well, it means that things are going to get more expensive. If D.R. Horton is not making enough money, then, people are saying like, well, no, I'll sell my house when things get bad enough. But that works in a hot market. But in a cooling market, like D.R. Horton, the home builder's talking about, selling takes longer and you make less.
Yeah. So essentially, this is just one data point, right? We're not saying the market's going to crash or going to fall. It might. We don't know.
But we're not chicken littling this thing.
Yeah. So, but what this is just one data point, one indicator where if D.R. Horton is saying his profits are coming down, they're starting less new builds. This historically, when new home builders start to slow down, prices come down. When they're not selling as much, they're dropping their prices. When the new home builders drop their prices, it'll have an effect on existing home sales and home prices. It'll be a lagging effect, usually about 6, 9, 12 months. The comps on your house will start to come down if the newer houses in the area are selling for less. That will start affecting your comps, which will affect your ability as a homeowner to sell your house for the price that you think you can sell your house.
And it also lowers your property value.
Go ahead. Yeah, or to get your ability to get if worst case scenario, I'm going to get a HELOC and I'm going to pay off my high interest consumer debt with my HELOC. When the prices start to come down, the market starts to come down, that could hinder your ability to even get a HELOC or sell the house at the price that you need to sell it at. So this is another, again, canary in the coal mine going with that theme. There are hints and indicators out there and a lot of different sectors that we need to kind of batten down the hatches a bit on our personal finances. And if you're carrying a ton of debt right now, you need to get out of that damn debt as soon as possible, because I learned this lesson when I was a kid. My dad's got a steel construction business, very, very successful. And he was always a cash guy, right? He didn't want to finance anything, didn't want to finance materials, didn't want to finance trucks. He wanted to pay as he went. Mm-hmm. And this was in the, had to been the late 80s, right? The late 80s, there was a huge downturn.
My favorite time
we were
period.
out in California. Yeah, just huge downturn. And I remember this when all the and I was like 11 or 12. I used to work at my dad's shop. I'd clean the offices, clean steel, things like that. And it was back then, it was like a 3-man operation, 3 or 4 guys. My uncle worked there. One of my dad's really good friends worked there. Real small operation, right? But I remember when, everybody was talking about this crash and everybody's losing money and all of this stuff. My dad, we would be going over to competitors and he would be buying their equipment. They were like in fire sales and stuff, just trying to get, and he was in a position because he didn't have any debt. It was slow for him too. It wasn't like he had all the work and nobody had any work. It was slow for everybody, but he didn't have debt obligations like all of his competitors did, who were financing everything and growing too fast. And it was great and fine when there's plenty of work. But then when things changed, the market changed, they all went belly up real quick. And he was able to go in and at rock bottom prices, get equipment and get to a point where he could expand. And then he weathered the storm because he didn't have all those debt payments, those obligations. And like it always does, in a few years, things turn back around, right? Everything's in cycles. Yep. And guess what? When it turned around, he was like the only game in town because all of his competitors couldn't weather that storm. They went out of business. And that's when his business went from like a small, 3-man operation to a multi-million dollar operation, over the next decade, because he was like, hey, you need some work? I got it, right? I could do it. But that was because he was smart enough not to over leverage himself and not carry all this debt.
Well, I
learned that when I was like 12.
This is how this story ties into what we were just talking about with credit cards, because we're talking about the mortgage market and home values. And if you have a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, and you're saying that's your emergency fund, this is the one thing that catches people off guard, which is your HELOC agreement has a clause in it about property value reductions, which means if your lender determines your home value has declined because the market's declined, based on the comps or automated value models or Zillow or whatever these things, they can freeze or reduce your available credit with little or no notice. And so that can leave you trapped. So that's why this is important.
And it's the same thing on a home equity line, the house, credit cards, all that stuff. The tea leaves are saying, there's strange things are afoot in the economy, right? So prepare yourself as best you can.
We don't need tea leaves. We just need to go back and listen to like the last 6 podcasts or 20 podcasts where we've been talking about the cost of living and inflation and just getting by. It just keeps going up and up and up. I can't even imagine what it costs to go to the movies these days.
Oh, dude, we definitely have to start doing 2 podcasts a week so I can start ranting and raving about the kids these days and how screwed they are if their parents don't help them out. Like I am fully convinced like the best thing you can do for your kids is not kick them out at 18, but let them stay there and work and get started in their career, get through college, whatever it is, and help them out as long as possible and give them a head start so they're not leaving the house at 18, going to college, getting a ton of student debt. And now at 24, they owe $150,000 in student debt. They're barely making enough money to rent an apartment, buy a cheap ass car, and they're just going to struggle for years and years and years versus letting them stay home and get all that stuff done. Not stay home and play video games all day, but start their life, get out there and work, start making some money and start saving that money, putting it in the 401k, putting it in an investment account. Let them make and save that money before they go out and they have to spend it all. And then when they're 24, 25 and they go out, now they're ahead of 95% of the other kids their age that all got, left the house at 18 or 19 and wanted to be an adult. Oh, great. Here you go. This is what being an adult's like. I'm firmly convinced that that's the best way you can help your kids right now is get them out of the house at a little bit later age with money in the bank.
Yep.
And no debt and a much better understanding about how that works. I think we're going to have to go back to that almost generational housing like we used to do because kids just can't do it. They can't even, and I'm 19 years younger than you and stuff was still reasonable when I was 19, 20. My brother and I went and we bought our first house when we were still in college. We went in together and bought, it was $165,000 brand new house on a golf course in Southern California. Yeah. For $165,000.
It's got to be a couple million now.
Well, it's not quite a couple million, but we sold it years ago, and it was like $450 is what we sold it for. Like we had that house for about 5 years and then sold it. But my point is, we each put $5,000 down that we scraped together while we were in college, and we split a $1,300 mortgage payment, and we had a nice house on a golf course. You can't even do that in Missouri now, I don't think. No. Much less Southern California.
So I looked up to see how much movie tickets are right now. $15.50 is my local theater.
How much is a Coke?
Yeah, $7.
Yeah, exactly. Now you want to take a date to a movie? It's like $100.
Yeah, I know.
When I was a kid, it was like $2. These are usually $1.
Yeah. No wonder I don't go to movies anymore.
Right. I know. No, I haven't been to a movie in years, man.
All right, Damon, we've run out of time. We
can't see. This is why we have to do 2 shows a week because we didn't get to the private credit funds, which is actually very important for people, I think. And then we didn't. Well, we kind of touched on it, but just real quick, I'll read the headline. Procter & Gamble just warned prices are going up. Shocker. Yep. Again, noticing a theme. Here's the tea leaves, right? Prices are going up. If you're in debt and you're already struggling, it's not going to get easier. If you're spending $2,000 a month servicing debt, imagine how much easier it'd be at least to absorb the $350 box of Miralax or whatever at Sam's Club if you didn't have to pay that $2,000 a month in credit card debt.
So you
got to get out of the debt.
No matter what your problem, there are solutions. Be sure to reach out to Damon Day, DamonDay.com, and schedule a free consult with him and talk it through before you jump off the cliff. That's for sure. If you want to read more of these stories, go to getoutofdebt.org, and you can read them all day long. Subscribe to the newsletter, and you'll get a weekday email drop with what you need to know. Until next time.
Steve's having a heart attack. Steve's having a heart attack because he has to edit this, and he just realized we're 50 minutes in, and he's like, oh, shit.
Oh, hell yeah. So until next time, Damon, I will see ya.
Peace.